Hello, hello! Welcome to the show. Security here with another adventure in Minecraft, and today we're going to be working on a new thing and talking about a subject that everybody has been talking about for a while. Why is Donald Trump president? Well, the answer is not what you think it is, and I will tell you in a little bit exactly why that is, or at least my reasoning or opinion as to why that is. And I think it's something that is worth listening to. I think it's something that everybody should have figured out a long time ago. Before that, though, I wanted to go ahead and give you a quick dazzle-do on this here. This is the Nether hub we're going to be working on. Got some basic themes in place. We're doing a little bit of a rib cage thing here for ways out of the Nether hub, and as you can see, it has been moved down from where it was. This is actually on the standard lava level we're on. We're going to do a glass encasing so that we can see everything. I also spent a lot of time digging stuff out. This whole section over here has been dug out and back, and I'm filling it in with lava so that it is actually separated via a lake of lava. Several layers have been taken out up. This was all hollowed out here more or less, but I wanted to move it up even further so that it was a true separation from the Nether hub itself. And then this is the path over to Water Bears, which you can see his other version has been kind of torn down. I'm pretty sure it's been caught on camera. We're still kind of going through everything we're going to do with this, so there's going to be a lot more to it. So stick with me on that, and you'll see what's what here. Oh, I saw my fire resistance on. We're firing up some netherrack because I got a lot of it. We're also firing up some glass, which is what I'm working on right now. I'm going to go ahead and head out and find some sand, and we can start talking about why Trump is your next president of the United States of America. So everybody's talking about it and has been, and I need to disclose a few things before we really get into it. First of all, this is Wednesday, the morning after the election that I'm talking about this, and I'm doing it because it's still fresh on my mind and I want to discuss it. But it's going to come out Monday, my regular scheduled time for this show. So if things are a little bit late in getting out and maybe not so relevant anymore, it is what it is. I still think that it is essential that we hear as to why this is happening. And I say it's not what you think it is because it is a very simple fact that politics in the United States was never intended to work the way it currently does. Now, I'll get a little bit further into that, but I first want to make sure that I preface or disclose a few things. I did not vote for Hillary Trump. I did not vote for Hillary Trump. Oh, snap. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Gary Johnson, not because I necessarily felt he would make a good president, but because I personally feel that I am a libertarian, and I would like to see that 5% mark hit for the Libertarian Party so that they can get funding to actually put somebody on the ballot that is worth being in the position of president, or any other position for that matter. And that actually ties directly into the real reason, in my opinion, why Donald Trump is president. We have to first go back to the primaries and acknowledge the fact that if Bernie Sanders was the Democratic candidate for president, more than likely would have taken the president's position for the year, or for the term. Now, why is that? Well, simple fact of the matter is because when anybody is asked, and all the polls will tell you this, what they want most out of their next president, the answer is always change. And Bernie Sanders had the best platform for the liberal standings for change. He's also very hard to keep under the thumb of the Democratic Party, and he's very, very outspoken about things he's passionate about. And this is also why that if he had won the primary for the Democratic Party, I would have voted for him for president, because regardless of the differences that him and I have as far as our political views, and there are some, he still would have done the best job, in my opinion, for making an actual difference in the way government works. And that's the key to this whole thing. I personally feel that the only reason Hillary Clinton was pushed into the primary was because she was willing so much to play ball with the Democratic Party. Ergo, she got more funding from the Democratic Party, she got a bigger spotlight from the Democratic Party, and got much more in the way of endorsements from the Democratic Party. But here in the United States, we are threatened. We are threatened by anything that is considered change. And so we have been told that the way things are done for years now is simply the two-party system. But there's a flaw with the two-party system, and it's a very, very easy one to point out. Why is the two-party system a bad idea? Why is it flawed? Why was the Earth the center of our solar system? Because that's the way it always has been, and that's just the way it is. Why was the world flat? Because that's the way it has always been, and that's just the way that it is. Why is the two-party system so flawed? Because it doesn't account for the majority of the citizens of the United States. What do you mean? It has to. That's why they win, is because they get the popular vote. That's not entirely true, as was obvious by this race and how close it was, and other races and how close they have been. Who actually makes the decision on who's our next president is the government for each state, which means it's actually figured out by whoever holds that state. And in a two-party system, you either have to be conservative or you have to be liberal. There is no in-between. Oh, sure, there's people that are more moderate, and yeah, they can keep a more moderate stance, and usually do in politics. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's not really fixing the problem. There should be third parties. There should be at least 3 parties. And in my opinion, there should be even more than that. The reasoning being simply this. If you have 3 parties versus 2, what do you have? You have somebody who is willing to listen to the middle ground. Or you have somebody who's willing to listen to something other than the 2 platforms or ideologies that are put forth. We are stuck in a system that is based off of 2 things, good and evil, black and white. And it doesn't matter which way your party lines go, that's the basic gist of it. There is no gray, there is no middle ground, there is no center. And the reality of it is, this is something that has been used in religion for years, where there's only heaven and hell, and there's nothing in between. And either you're a good person or you're a bad person. And you're going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell. Well, this equation works for anything. It also works for politics. If you don't side with somebody who shares the majority of your views in this two-party system, then you're siding with the enemy, or you're siding with the devil, or you're siding with somebody who is for fascism and is downright evil and against America. Now, that's not entirely true, but it does feel that way sometimes, and I understand why you would think that. But without actually backing a candidate that has the same views as you do, or at least the majority of the same views as you do, you are stuck having the exact same thing year after year, term after term, decade after decade, century after century. Because there's never going to be any middle ground met. It's always going to be extreme, which either ends in some kind of filibuster or basically the absence of anything being actually done, or it ends in a situation where we are now, where everything is ran by one party and nobody really gets a chance to be heard from the other side. So now we have this situation where we have two parties that are, we'll say for argument purposes here, extreme left and right. I mean, there is some more moderate stuff within them, but we have the left and right. We have the conservative and the liberal platforms that we have to choose from. And because of the Electoral College and how it works, essentially they control these votes wholeheartedly. There are two states that can split their votes, their Electoral College votes, but even that really doesn't account for anything neutral. And it doesn't account for all the other states that have much more Electoral College votes to be split and better identify what is wanted by the general public. But there's more to this thought process or this story than that. In my opinion, there is another aspect that really helped Donald Trump get his supporters out to vote this year. And it was even talked about via the media itself, and that is the mainstream media. They even went to admit on the night, specifically NBC, on the night of the election, that they themselves have to feel somewhat responsible for the outcome of this. And what did they mean by that? Well, they didn't really go into it because they're not going to publicly televise the fact that they screwed up in helping one person or the other getting the presidency. But essentially what that comes down to is the way that they handled the media in release. Now, people around city centers or in the city themselves tend to ingest the majority of their media from internet sources. That means they get to handpick what they see. And that also goes into play with younger voters versus older voters. Younger voters also tend to get most of their news and media from the internet. So you put that into play, and what I'm about to tell you will make a little bit more sense. Mainstream media does a terrible, terrible job of being non-biased, but they have to in order to not be considered a viable, or in order to be considered a viable source. So this quote unbiased unquote biased media, mainstream media that certain people use to get their information from, starts pushing their agenda, disguised but pushing their agenda. And while they're doing this, they're both bad-mouthing Trump and Clinton. And you would say that Fox News didn't badmouth Trump, but that's actually not true. They badmouthed the crap out of Trump, specifically early on in the race when they were trying to push forward a legitimate Republican candidate. And because of this, we got a very good picture of Trump not willing to agree with or be closed in by what people said he should do. He spoke his mind, and he spoke his mind often. And it put his foot in his mouth all the time. But a lot of people liked that about him because he was so not uniform and manipulated by the system, or unwilling to say things that may actually make him look bad. It made him look so much better in a lot of people's eyes. Here's a guy that's willing to say whatever's on his mind, and I think that's great. Because, again, people want change. That's the biggest thing they want when it comes to a president. And the media just kept on putting out all of these things that Donald Trump was saying and how crazy it was that he would say this stuff on air. And everybody ate it up and said, yeah, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. A politician that's willing to do whatever he believes, and he's not obviously listening to what else all these other people say. They're trying to keep him from opening his mouth and saying stuff, but he's just doing what he feels is right. I like this about this guy. That's what they're saying. And then they go so far as to keep their ratings up. And this is where they really get into trouble, because bad equals good in ratings, right? You start talking about the horrible things that people do, and ratings, they're going to stay up. So they start talking about Trump and all of the racist things that he's potentially said or done. They start talking about Trump and all the sexist things that he's potentially said or done. And they start throwing around all the accusations that are made, true or false, just so they can simply keep these ratings up. But they don't stop there. They go even further with that, because the ratings aren't going to be good enough with just bad-mouthing Trump. You got to bad-mouth both sides. That way we can really get people arguing and angry, and they're going to tune in to see what hellaciously thing we say next about their candidate. So we're going to start bad-mouthing Hillary Clinton as well. And we're going to start talking about how she's a liar and a thief, and she should be in prison because of all of the things that she's done. And they're going to keep on talking about those things. So what do you have in the end? We have all of these people that watch mainstream media that basically saw one person willing to speak his mind and talk about things that he felt was right. Whether they be right or wrong, it was his opinion and his alone. And he could say, being PC be damned, or telling me what to do to get a vote be damned. But then they saw the other side. They saw Hillary Clinton's side. And all they saw on her side was, here's another politician that's doing exactly what she's told to be part of a party. And here's a politician who's yet again a crook and a criminal and should be in prison for what they've done. Now, all of these things could be true or false. It really makes no difference, because they've already been ingested. And in the eyes of the people that want to vote for Trump, they stuck there, and they stuck there hard. And the news gave them the information, whether it be good or bad, whether it be right or wrong, they needed to make their decision. So they were going to make darn sure they got out to vote, just so they wouldn't have Hillary Clinton be in the White House. So this is part of the media problem, but here's the other side of it. We have, again, the situation where we're being force-fed media based off of our own selections. We're sitting on the internet in the morning, drinking our coffee, and we see a headline, and it reads something that catches our eye. It could say, Hillary has done it again. Or it could say, Trump, or another female accuses Trump of sexual harassment. And as soon as we click on that thing, we've already made a decision in our mind. This is important to us for a reason. We're clicking on this because we're for or against this person. And we're just re-encouraging that thought process. And we're encouraging our opinions to be based off of the things we personally select to be truth. So now we have two factors that we've talked about. We have the two-party system that is flawed and doesn't work, but we still continue to think that we have to do it this way because this is the way it's done. And then we have the media feeding us the things that drive us insane and manipulate our thought process without us even realizing it. There's one more factor that I think is the reason why Donald Trump was voted for president that we need to talk about. And I think this trifecta is the reason ultimately why the vote went the way it did. In my opinion, the last factor as to why Donald Trump is the next president of the United States of America is something that has been debated about for a long time when it comes to the presidency, and that is the polar opposite. There is this theory that the polar opposite of whatever the current president is going to be the next president. And this was talked about again in the news during the election. Some of you may have caught that and can understand where I'm coming from with this. The idea is simply that in order to create change, I guess you will, you're going to automatically want to vote for a president that is completely different than the one that is currently in the White House. In this case, we're looking for somebody who's the complete opposite of President Barack Obama. Now, President Barack Obama has done a lot of things that could be considered good or controversial, depending on your personal views on politics. But one thing he's always done, and he's done it very well, has been extremely poised and calm. This would mean that the opposite of him would be very sporadic and outspoken and a bit crazed or passionate, overly passionate about his thought process or theories or philosophies. And you can't think of anybody that fits that bill better than brain fart, Donald Trump. I mean, think about that. Who have you ever seen run for president that was just as out there and as outlandish and outspoken as Donald Trump? He's one of a kind. There's nobody else like him that we've ever seen in politics. So to fit that, whole polar opposites thing, he's got it in spades. They also did this connection to previous ones, how kind of wild and cowboy-like that W. Bush was, and how that was the opposite. Barack Obama was the opposite of him. Now, I personally don't know if this one holds water all the way through. I am not anywhere near some kind of historian or anything like that, so I can't speak to every presidency and if that holds true all the way through. But from what I've heard about this idea, it makes sense to me, and I could see how that potentially took a factor in this race. So, to close that out, essentially what you have here are three things that, in my opinion, are the reason that the next president of the United States is Donald Trump. They were always there hiding, and they're all changeable. They're all things that may or may not need to be fixed, but definitely are debated. And if you guys would like to see them change, you need to speak up and do your part to see them be changed. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and tell you to get out and do things, because in my opinion, all that does is turn into a situation where everybody says get out and do things. And the reality of it is, all you have to do to change this philosophy is start voting for who you feel is the best for the job. Not because they're a Republican, not because they're a Democrat, but because they have the same views or moral standing or what have you that you do. If we start pushing past these political lines of affiliation, we're going to get somewhere with politics. We need to stop thinking in red and blue. We need to stop thinking in conservative or liberal. We need to stop thinking in wrong or right. We need to start thinking with the best person for the job. And whether you like it or not, the reason why Donald Trump is our next president is because the way the system works meant that he was the person that people thought was best for the job. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? I'd love to hear about it in the comment section down below. Please keep it civil. This is not a debate about political views or rights. This is a debate about why Donald Trump is president of the United States. That's it. I don't want to start an argument about who's better for the job or who's wrong or right. I just want to have a friendly conversation about why you think, based off of what is in place in the current system, Donald Trump was elected the President of the United States. Because regardless of how you feel about it, it's not going to change. Any amount of arguing you do for the reason why this guy shouldn't be it isn't going to change. It's not going to change. There's nothing we can do about that. Let's accept where we are and try to fix it. That's what we can do moving forward. As you can see, I've gotten quite a bit done here on camera today. This is the nether hub for the main island, and there'll be more divulged as to how it will look as time goes on, but I'm going to do some more work off camera because working on camera around lava is very, very dangerous for the most part. And the only reason I was able to pull this off the way I was today was because the majority of what I was doing was very simple tasks that didn't require a lot of concentration while dangling over lava. I hope you guys will join me for the next one here in another adventure in Minecraft. And as usual, folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget that like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. And come back next time to hear more about things and life and stuff. We'll see you next time.